Hello, welcome. So today we are going to be in the very last legs of the Piercing Patty series. Yay and boo. Yay, because I'm looking forward to reading what other absolute heinous rubbish she does. But boo, because I'm sad that it's actually done with already. I was really hoping it would take longer to read. Never mind. Hey, never mind. So if that sounds like something you'd be into today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. I'm in a really good mood today. I have a new gardener. I sacked the old gardener. He was doing a shite job. So I have a new gardener and oh my goodness, my garden looks great. It looks so good. I can't do the gardens myself because of my chronic health issues. So it's nice to actually have somewhere I can go and sit where I'm not going to get attacked by nettles. And I have a very big garden as well. So it was overtaken by nettles and looked like something from the Jurassic Park. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we, before I ramble on forever. So this one's titled Piercing Patty on My Wedding Day. Oh, goody. So this is a bit of a throwback, and I didn't even realise it as being truly Just Know until I started lurking here. So obviously Just Know is r/Just Know Mother-in-Law, where people share heinous stories of what their mother-in-laws have done, just in case anyone didn't know. From the perspective at the time, it was an honest oversight, but as we know, llamas, in Just Know Land, it's absolutely deliberate, and your fault if you call them out, and also your fault if you ignore their behaviour for attention. We are going to have to go into Just Know Mother-in-Law, by the way. I've said that ages ago when I asked if people knew where I could find mother-in-law stories, and then one of you guys really kindly told me where. I had a good read of the subreddit, got lost in it all on my lonesome, because it was a hell of a rabbit hole to fall down. And then I forgot to actually save any to share with you guys. So I promise I will do that if that is something you guys would like to see. So, away we go, back to the year 20XX, and today is my wedding day. PP had not been heavily involved with the wedding planning, but to be honest, neither was I. I hired a friend I knew from college who I trusted. I forwarded her some inspiration boards and then promptly effed off because I had no business wedding planning at that stage of my career. Honestly, I think more people should do that because wedding planning seems so frustrating. I could not. I would just have to elope, I think, if I ever found someone dumb enough to want to marry me, and I felt crazy enough to want to marry them. Sure, I did the important stuff like food tasting and touring venues, but the details, the nitty-gritty stuff, was done via her texting me 2 photos and me texting back, first one or second one. If you have someone you truly super duper absolutely effing lootly trust, this method of wedding planning is 10 out of 10, would recommend. So, in a way, my wedding was kind of like an extreme version of a surprise party. Here in the UK, when I was like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, we had this program on TV called Don't Tell the Bride, where they'd basically give the fella all the money. The bride was allowed nothing to do with the wedding, had no idea what they were doing, and they would literally let the bloke organise the whole wedding. And let me tell you, it made for some fantastic trash TV. When I actually finally get a decent PC, we should absolutely do a reaction video to one of those episodes because they're on YouTube now, and oh my goodness, it's so funny. I could never. So, in a way, my wedding was kind of like an extreme version of a surprise party. I mean, there was no other way to do it, unfortunately. I was working 70-hour weeks as a young associate and paying off my enormous student loan debt as a new graduate and trying to elbow my way into a very exclusive good old boys club at work. Oh, God, I bet that was a nightmare. And I just didn't care whether we had peonies or lilies. Joke. I totally care. F lilies. But you guys get it. Yeah, F lilies. I only say that because lilies can kill cats. I have never had lilies in my house, by the way. I just want to say that. But I've had a few times where people have tried to buy me lilies and I've been like, I appreciate the gesture, but off with those murderous plants right now. If they come anywhere near my babies, I will scream. I didn't have a lot of room to let PP into the process because I just wasn't the involved bride she wanted me to be. Well, as you know, that's grounds for punishment. Although I didn't know it yet. PP was gonna get me back. She thought she was so slick. If I wasn't going to involve her, she wasn't going to involve me. So I had no idea what she was wearing to my wedding. Oh, let me guess. A white dress by any chance? Everyone knows where this story is going. This scenario has less foreshadowing surprise than a Nicholas Sparks novel. Yeah, I think we can all guess where this is going, can't we, lovies? Now, before I tell all you llamas what you already know, let me give you a teensy-eensy detail about myself that I hadn't shared already because I didn't want to be ID'd. I'm not white. Sure, I was born in America, but my parents are immigrants and they raised me not to lose my sense of culture from homeland. That was all a long-winded way of telling you guys that brides from homeland wear red on their wedding day. I think it's a beautiful tradition, and I wanted to emulate my ancestors on my wedding day by wearing a red traditional dress instead of the westernized white gown. Plus, between you and me, guys, I just look a lot better in red than I do in white, so that's also kind of why I did it. If I ever got married, I'd wear a black dress because, yeah, I don't look good in white because I am the colour of A4 printer paper already. I would just look like I was cosplaying Casper. Thank you, baby Jesus. I had a second culture that had traditions that didn't wash out my skin tone. Prayer hands emoji. So, I'm getting hair and makeup done, and the photographer is taking all kinds of boudoir shots, and the whole hotel suite is abuzz with activity when sudden PP pops in. What are you doing here, PP? My baps are out. Go away, please. Fine, I'll cover my nipples, but only one. Which one did you choose, left or right? I didn't even read the next sentence. You could pick left or right. Well, if you're embarrassed, PP, then you should probably not show up to bridal suites without being invited. Grr. PP makes a big show of wanting to see me before the wedding and showing me her dress. I'm like, cool, I get it. You only have sons and you want to do a pre-wedding moment with a daughter. But can we do this in a bit? I'm kind of in the middle of something here. Nope, it's right now or no other option. It's going to be right now because my name is Patty and I'm the centre of the universe. I waved her off and basically spouted something along the lines of, sure, put it on and let me see. It was a white wedding dress. We knew it. It wasn't a straight up ball gown like I've seen some mother-in-laws wear on this sub, but it was definitely a wedding dress for an older bride. Think, I'm on my 4th wedding, but I've only had 2 grooms vibes. Below the knee length with lots of beading and lace, a keyhole back, a rhinestone cinch belt. I was so blind, I had no idea what the fuck she was up to. Llamas, I thought she looked nice, and I was actually kind of relieved that she wasn't going to show up in something more QVC-like. It was, by all accounts, an elegant dress if you wanted to remarry someone else now that your first husband confirmed his years-long affair with his receptionist. I smiled at PP, told her she looked stunning, and asked if she would like to see me in my dress. I thought we were bonding. Poor, naive MotherInPaws. PP says yes, and so I go to the other room with my mum so she can help me into my dress, and we emerge victorious. I thought I shined up like a new penny. I had never before or since felt that beautiful. Everyone in that room was tearing up and gushing, but my photographer sent me some shots of PP's face looking like she'd just stepped in dog poo with her new Manolo Blahniks, I think. Listen, I don't do designer, okay? I am a council estate queen, all right? I have no idea. I mean, her face was bad. I had to blur the background on some and crop her out completely for a view of the shot. PP had no idea I was going traditional with my dress. It never even occurred to her that the wedding dress could be in any colour but white. Yeah, they can, you ethnocentric bitch. She was trying to upstage me, but due to her inability to Google my homeland, she kind of just looked like a jackass. How could she tantrum though? It would require that she admits that she was trying to pee off the bride. The situation was so good and juicy, I was mad I didn't even plan it. Not that I planned anything that day, lol. Bonus, in Homeland, you actually wear white to funerals. Oh no, that's quite the faux pas, PP. My grandma, God bless her heart, doesn't speak that much English. Since grandma loves to learn about American traditions so much, she thought everyone else would, like her, learn about her traditions too. She was just trying to make small talk with her new family-in-law by informing PP of our culture. What grandma meant to say to PP was, in my country, we wear white to funerals. Oh my God. I just read ahead. What actually came out of her sweet, adorable mouth was, "You look dead." Yes, Grandma. You tell her. Even though she wasn't trying to tell her off, I still think that's great. I died when I heard this story from a cousin. Ha 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 ha. Honestly, when I think about it sometimes, it still makes me wheeze with laughter. And that's how PP tried to ruin my wedding, but didn't, and also couldn't complain about it without looking like a psychopath who tried to ruin a wedding. The end. So, next one says, just no mother-in-law in the wild, the one that doesn't understand contract law. Hi guys, missed me? Sorry I've been MIA, it's just that darling husband and I were approved for a foster placement some months ago, and we have been having the pleasure of hanging out with the coolest sibling set. They're chill. I'm into parenthood. Piercing Patty, aka Patrasha, still persona non grata in my life. Though I have a BEC story about her I will post once I'm done sharing this doozy with you all. So, for the time being, I'm back! By the way, what the F happened while I was gone? The vibes here are weird. Don't have a clue what that's referring to, by the way, I am afraid. So, I have this friend that's a jeweler. She's awesome, amazingly competent at her job, and just about the nicest, most passive person I've ever met. Super the customer is always right kind of personality. She is a third-generation jeweler, so her family's reputation is extremely important to her. Anyways, friend asked me out for a coffee and tells me that she's getting sued. I was like, what the F for? Being too cute? Because that's the only way I'd believe it, sister. And she launches into the story. Okay, I am going to be seriously honest right now. I have just read this paragraph already, but apparently I'm real dense. I was reading it thinking, daughter and sister-in-law are a newly engaged couple. Wait, because they kept referring to sister-in-law as he. It's supposed to mean son-in-law. Daughter and son-in-law are a newly engaged couple. See, now that makes so much more sense. Son-in-law and daughter met at work. He is slightly more skilled than her and therefore makes a bit more money, but he's not rich. For this story, let's say that he's a restaurant manager and she's a waitress. I guess he proposed with a placeholder ring and took her diamond shopping so that she could get what she wanted, instead of him having to take an expensive gamble. So, daughter and son-in-law go through friend's lookbook and see a diamond with the specs and the price that they like. Let's say it's a brilliant cut 1.5 carat SL1H colour for 10k. None of that makes any sense to me, by the way. So, do not understand whether that's good or not. For you diamond people out there, that's a pretty on par price for what they're getting. Daughter is happy and son-in-law is a little hesitant about spending that much money on something that doesn't house them or drive them to work, given his current earning power. But he's just happy that she's happy. Yeah, I'll never understand dropping like tens of thousands on a ring. It seems so wasteful to me. Obviously different strokes for different folks, but I just can't fathom. Like, that's like a third of a deposit for a house, is it not? I don't know. I've never bought a house either. I've always rented. I am too much of a poor her to afford a house, and I don't think I'll ever afford a house. And that's on being a millennial. They place a 3k deposit on the ring, sign their little purchase agreement, and my friend has to front the 7k to get the stone from the wholesaler. This is common practice, I've come to learn. Well, enter just no mother-in-law. Mother-in-law is so enraged that son-in-law has the audacity to buy her daughter anything but a completely flawless diamond that she fucking frog-marched her own daughter down to my friend's shop and demanded that she change the order to a Beyonce diamond. For people who aren't diamond aficionados, I am not. What daughter and son-in-law wanted to buy isn't a bad diamond or anything, but they're getting a pretty okay deal, and unless you follow daughter around with a jeweller's loop, the untrained eye will likely be unable to see the inclusions in her engagement ring. I'm sorry, your son-in-law does not have Beyonce money. This is not going to end well for you, crazy lady. Friend tells her that is impossible and that the shop has already fronted the $7,000 for the original stone. They had a purchase agreement, and also, your children cannot afford what you are asking for, nor do they want it. Oh, I bet she didn't like being told, did she? Daughter looked so beaten down by her mum's antics. I mean, the lady was basically equating the price of the diamond with her own daughter's worth. That's not how that works. That's not how that works at all. The son-in-law is effing over it. He calls off the engagement because the daughter won't stand up to her mum. Damn right, son-in-law. Absolutely. Because could you imagine being stuck in a marriage with that woman when she won't stand up to her mum? That poor son-in-law's life would be ran by the mother-in-law. And he didn't feel like marrying mother-in-law along with the daughter. Understandable. Mother-in-law then proceeds to sue my friend in small claims for the 3k deposit. That's not how a deposit works! Lol, not her money in the first place. Sorry, son-in-law. Friend is obviously distressed at getting sued because she's such a people pleaser. But I look at the purchase agreement for her and it's airtight. I told her if Cereal signed this purchase agreement, it wouldn't even have the right to get stale. That's how airtight you are, sweetheart. I told her that the mum only has two options. One, buy the original diamond as per their agreement, or two, fuck off because basically, what the F do you think a deposit is for? To make sure you follow through with the purchase and not dick around like you're doing now! But in mother-in-law's head, friend has stolen $3,000 from her daughter. The entitlement is bleeding off the page. I don't like it. Long story short, the judge agrees with me because, you know, we both know how to read contracts and mother-in-law does not. Friend texted me as soon as her case was over and was elated. But I'm still like, you're still out $7,000, dummy. Well, apparently one of her customers got a crazy good deal on a diamond, but she just sold it for what she was owed on it. It was a bad juju diamond and she didn't want it in her store anymore. Understandable. Mum couldn't afford to purchase the diamond without son-in-law, and son-in-law didn't want to buy it because he didn't want to get married anymore. Play bitch games, win bitch prizes. Absolutely. And that's where the stories from this user end for now. I am very sad, although they were very enjoyable to read. I just can't imagine being that unhinged, entitled, insane. If you listened all the way to the end, I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, that is your initiation into the cult of void. Welcome! Whatever it is you're doing for the rest of the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye!